How's it going, everybody? Too Spooky here, and welcome back to the Nightmare Before Christmas, a week of spooky videos to celebrate 200,000 subscribers. In today's video, we're going to be talking about one of, if not the most popular, horror movie slasher. So get ready for Freddy with 10 facts about Freddy Krueger, from A Nightmare on Elm Street. This video was suggested by a couple of you guys, and after the video about Jason Voorhees a little while back, that's no surprise. So thank you all so much for the suggestion, and I hope you enjoy because this one is going out to you. Now without further ado, get comfortable, but don't fall asleep because it's time to get started. Number 1. To begin, let's dive into Freddys Conception. The idea of Freddy Krueger manifested after Wes Craven read multiple stories in the news about individuals who had mysterious deaths involving nightmares. Each of the stories involved people having extreme nightmares, to the point where they would purposely keep themselves up in any and every way possible, just to avoid going to sleep. Each person, of course, eventually caved, but they never woke up again because they died in their sleep. Autopsy reports also revealed that there wasn't any particular cause of death, not even sleep deprivation, and the families who found the individuals stated that they heard screaming coming from them in their sleep. But when they ran in to check on them, what's going on? They were already dead. Now that Wes Craven had the idea, he had to decide what Freddy was going to look like. To which he remembered a time when he was only 11 years old. A homeless man that looked very similar to what Freddy looks like now was walking down the street making a bunch of noise. Wes was looking out his window at the man, when suddenly the man noticed he was being watched, and stared right back at him. He then bobbed his head forward very quickly, in a "I know you're looking at me" type of gesture, before walking into Wes Craven's apartment building, where he then made his way up to the second floor where Wes was located. Wes's brother grabbed a baseball bat and went out into the hall to confront the man, but he was nowhere to be found. This event scared Wes enough to base the appearance of Freddy off of him. Now Wes Craven's nightmarish creation just needed a name, so Wes decided to name him after one of his childhood bullies. Because what could be scarier than someone who tormented you as a kid, right? The name of this bully was Fred Krueger, so Freddy was based on both real events and real people for that matter. Number 2. Because Freddy was supposed to be a burn victim, he was also originally going to look more like a traditional burn victim, to the point where he would even be missing his ears and nose, part of his skull would be showing, and teeth would be showing through his cheek. But due to limitations with makeup and prosthetics, that just wasn't possible at the time. The creation of Freddy's signature appearance is thanks to makeup artist Dave Miller. He, along with the other makeup artists, were running out of time and ideas for what to do with Freddy's face. So when Dave was out one night having a pepperoni pizza, instead of finishing it, he started rearranging the cheese and pepperonis on top of the pizza until he created what would be the design of Freddy's deformed face. So Freddy's face was essentially created out of a pepperoni pizza. Number 3. Freddy was originally going to be an older man, and I mean much older. When Wes Craven first began auditions, he was looking for men in their 60s to play Freddy. Wes eventually decided on a much younger Robert Englund, due to his energy and unique take on the character, essentially making the role his own, and the rest was history. However, before Robert was chosen to play the role, British actor David Warner was already chosen to put on the glove, but due to scheduling conflicts, he was unable to continue the part. There isn't any known footage of David's version of Freddy, but we do have a couple makeup tests of Warner's Freddy. It does look pretty menacing, and goes along with the original idea of Freddy being an older man. But in the end, I think we can all agree it just wouldn't be the same. Something else you might not know is that before anyone was cast as Freddy, he was originally just going to be played by a stuntman. But after some test shots, Wes Craven decided Freddy was a bit more than just a slasher in the night, and instead needed to become an entirely fleshed out character. Number 4. Freddy's iconic red and green jumper was originally going to be red and yellow. The reasoning for this was because Wes knew for a fact that he wanted Freddy to have the ability to shapeshift, and he figured that red and yellow would be the easiest indication for people to realize that something was Freddy when he shifted. And these colors were also in homage to Plastic Man, who could also shapeshift. Later on, the colors were changed to red and green after Wes learned that those two colors were the hardest colors for the eyes to process when put together side by side, and he figured that would make Freddy just that much more off-putting. When it comes to Freddy's iconic weapon, Wes wanted Freddy to have something different from all the other horror slashers at the time, and something that would be easy for Freddy to carry around. After studying different fears that people had about animals, he learned that many people had the fear of being slashed by an animal's claws, and after observing the way that cats release their claws, Wes based the weapon after that. Thanks, cats. The original prototype of the weapon featured fishing knives instead of the steak or tomato knives that it would don later on. So as you can see by these last few facts, a lot of different things inspired the creation of this horror icon. Number 5. Now it's finally time to answer the age-old question. Is Freddy a child molester? Well, yes and no. It's a bit complicated. In the original script, Freddy was going to be a child molester because a child molester was the worst thing that Wes Craven could think of making Freddy. But due to many high-profile child molestation cases in California at the time, Wes Craven didn't want to be accused of capitalizing on it, and changed him to just a child murderer. Because that's just so much better, right? Although Freddy being a child molester is still implied at certain points throughout the franchise, most notably the 2010 reboot, where Freddy was completely rewritten as a child molester like he was originally intended to be. Number 6. Freddy used to have his own TV show, which was called Freddys Nightmares, which aired from 1988 to 1990 and consisted of 2 seasons. In this series, we also got somewhat of a prequel to A Nightmare on Elm Street during the first episode, which featured Freddy's trial. In the movies, we learned that Freddy got off on a technicality, which was also the case for this prequel episode, but one thing was a bit different. In the movies, the technicality was a gathering of evidence without a warrant. But in the TV show, it was because the officer who arrested Freddy didn't read him his Miranda rights. Sounds a bit familiar, doesn't it?
The department was forced to drop the charges because you forgot to read him his Miranda rights.
I did read him his right. I did a version of that.
Do you even know the Miranda rights?
Yes.
Let's hear him then.
I think it sounds something like,
My name is Jeff.
Number 7. In the first Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy only got 7 minutes of screen time throughout the entire movie. I suppose that's better than Jason getting like 30 seconds of screen time in the first Friday the 13th, but come on, man. Freddy is basically what we're here to see. Number 8. Most people know about Freddy's mother if you've seen all the movies, but let me fill those of you who don't know in. Freddy's mother was named Amanda Krueger, who was a nun that worked in a mental hospital caring for the inmates. Well, unfortunately for her, she ended up getting accidentally locked in with 100 of the inmates over Christmas. And considering that she's a female, surrounded by 100 aggressive mental patients who are also cis male scum, she was unfortunately raped by all of them, which is pretty fucked up. They found her after the holiday barely alive, and later found out that she was pregnant from the ordeal, which resulted in Freddy Krueger, making him the bastard son of 100 maniacs. Later on, Freddy was adopted by a man named Mr. Underwood. Oh. I guess that explains why Freddy was a child molester. Number 9. Freddy's exact victim count is unknown due to children in the past that he's killed off screen and things like that. But from what we have seen, Freddy killed a total of 45 victims so far, which is quite a bit, but he has nothing on Jason's kill count. And the moment that you've all been waiting for, number 10. You know how Eminem is considered the rap god? That is subjective and debatable, of course, but we cannot for a second forget about the original rap god, Freddy Krueger.
It's time for Freddy. Oh, hell no! So my advice to you is to stay ready, 'cause you know who's back? Freddy.
This actually happened. I'm not kidding. This is not a joke. This is real. Welp, that's it.
What do you mean?
I just witnessed Freddy Krueger rapping with people called the Fat Boys. I've seen all I need to see, and frankly, this was just too much for me. I'm killing myself so I can forget I've ever heard about this.
But won't you just come back to life and remember it all over again?
Fuck, you're right. I'm gonna need a bigger gun so it wipes out today's memories too.
I'm gonna go see a psychiatrist.
But anyways, that is our video today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and hopefully you learned something new. If you did, make sure to leave a like. But that's not all. If you leave a like on this video, you are 100% guaranteed to not be killed by Freddy in your dreams tonight. Maybe you should like the video just to be safe. And while you're at it, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and follow me on Twitter. Also make sure to comment down below what horror movie slasher you want to learn about next. For a limited time only, we've also got the first piece of Too Spooky merch, the Too Spooky themed Christmas sweaters.
What kind of faggot runs around in a Christmas sweater?
So be sure to check those out before they're gone forever. The Nightmare Before Christmas isn't over yet, so be sure to stick around for the next few videos. And with that, if you cannot get enough Too Spooky content, well, make sure to click here for 5 facts about Jason Voorhees, 25 facts about Army of Darkness, or you can click here for the previous and next video in the Nightmare Before Christmas. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon with a new video.
No problem.
Fall asleep or you'll wake up dead.